Everyone always looks at startup ideas and thinks, oh, I could have had that idea. If only I had thought of Facebook. Easy. And it's just not true.
Most startups fail. And the ones that succeed almost fail, but learn from those failures, and they end up looking almost nothing like their original plan.
It is no coincidence that our buildings are, for the most part, 2 stories high and surrounded by grass. So when things fail and people jump, they just sprain their ankle.
The place we now know as Silicon Valley has been rewriting the rules of innovation for more than 100 years. From radio to computers, radar to movies, satellites to smartphones, the Valley has shaped our lives. But the real story of how this place came to be has never been told. Clairvoyance was in short supply.
The first thing he said to me was, you know, the computer is never going to be as important to society as a copier.
People felt that things like Saran wrap are much more important than a personal computer.
And groundbreaking companies didn't do it on their own.
Silicon Valley would not exist without government funding.
Military spending, defense spending, really mapped out the new economy.
Virtually every silicon chip made until about 1972 was deployed in a Polaris missile.
The surprising history of the place that for more than a century has been inventing the future.
Now we're connected. Audio, you can see my work, you can point at it, and I can see your face and we can talk.
There you go. That was 1968?
Holy Silicon Valley created these amazing inventions that changed the way we live our lives.
It just can't be predicted, and that's the beauty of it.
We've worked on our service.
When it comes to technology, this is the capital of the world. Being here is a whole different ballgame. Silicon Valley is in this never-ending circle of this is where our best engineers are. Why? Because that's where companies get started. Why? Because that's where venture capitalists live and they provide funding for those companies. Why are they here? Because the greatest engineers are here. Why greatest engineers are here? Because the companies are here. It's this never-ending circle of life in Silicon Valley.
Jan Koum is born and raised in Ukraine.
For me, I used abacus in school because we didn't even have calculators. I remember seeing my first computer. I was like, wow. I mean, to me, it was just fascinating. It was like this whole new world.
In 1992, when he is 16, Koum and his mother emigrate to California. His father stays behind. Relatives help them rent a cheap apartment, which by chance is in Mountain View, in Silicon Valley.
The first 5-6 years of living in the United States were tough. We lived in public housing. We had to have financial aid, and we had food stamps. And it's tough on many levels. It's definitely not easy.
Koum finishes high school and pursues his interest in computers at a local state college. But a chance encounter leads him to a job on the network security team at Yahoo, where he benefits from a long-standing Valley perk.
The recruiter who was hiring me, he explained to me this amazing concept of stock options, which I knew nothing about. And I remember sitting in a conference room in Yahoo and we were talking about me joining the company. He was telling me, look, if you work part-time, we can't give you stock options. And I was thinking to myself, what are stock options and why do I want them?
At Yahoo, Koum makes a friend, Brian Acton, who helps him through times of hardship. The death of his father back in Ukraine. And, when he's 24, the death of his mother. Koum and Acton stay at Yahoo until 2007, and then cash in their stock options and leave.
I really wanted to do something myself. I just didn't know what yet.
And then, in 2009, he gets an idea.
It started with me buying an iPhone.
Koum finds himself annoyed that he is missing calls from friends when he's at the gym. so he creates an app that people can use to let their friends know if they are busy or free. He calls it WhatsApp and starts a business to sell it. Apple agrees to offer it in its App Store.
And that was such a big moment because it was a feeling of achievement. It's like, I've done it. I've built something with my own hands, and now anybody in the world who has an iPhone can use what I've built. That feeling of achievement, there's no way to describe it. And we were so happy when it launched, and we were so disappointed when nobody used it.
But Koum doesn't give up. He retools WhatsApp for a market where he sees room to compete. Text messaging.
It was expensive. To send a message to somebody in another country, to send a picture to somebody in another country over SMS was very expensive.
So Koum bypasses the SMS networks of the private phone companies.
We were able to use internet, just like Google uses internet, like Netflix, like all of the companies.
By switching from SMS to the internet, WhatsApp can offer unlimited global service for about $1 a year.
And it took off. And that was it. It was like the light went on.
Launching in the summer of 2009, WhatsApp 2.0 soon gains millions of users all over the world. Brian Acton joins Koum in running the company. And soon, Sequoia Capital, a leading investment firm in the Valley, wants to talk.
When we intersected, they were at about 8 million active users. Over half the people that had downloaded WhatsApp were using it every day. We talk about that as daily active usage. To have a daily active usage rate of 50% or better was astonishing.
Sequoia ultimately invests nearly $60 million in WhatsApp.
We were growing really fast, and our users kept coming back and using our product.
WhatsApp was now larger than Twitter in terms of the number of consumers that are interacting with the service on a daily or monthly basis.
By 2012, the white-hot growth of WhatsApp is commanding the attention of Mark Zuckerberg.
Now what's the big threat to Facebook? Instagram, WhatsApp, these new social networks appearing that threaten Facebook. What has Facebook done? They'll spend billions for WhatsApp just to get that thing inside their tent.
In 2014, Zuckerberg makes an offer.
Facebook just bought WhatsApp for a stunning $19 billion deal.
It's one of the richest deals in Valley history.
Facebook's largest buy ever.
On its $60 million investment, Sequoia earns some $3 billion. And Koum signs the contract on the door of the building in Mountain View where he used to get his food stamps. Today, WhatsApp is used by more than 1 billion people.
There is absolutely no chance I could have built WhatsApp outside of Silicon Valley. No chance. This place is magical.